Is this shit going? All right, I think it's going. Let me check. Yo, what's good? It's Mastermind MMA, and I'm pretty sure we're going and we're good all up in this bitch. So I'm about to check. All right, yeah, we 100% are. All right, what's going on, guys? It's Mastermind MMA, man. And this video is going to be on why I think that Dustin Poirier beats Khabib because it's UFC. I don't know what number, but it's Dustin versus Khabib, and that's all that fucking matters. And I mean, when this fight first got announced, I thought that I said that I do think that Dustin's going to beat Khabib. And when it comes closer to the fight coming, that I'm going to get into the depths of the reason why. And man, it's here. It kind of crept up on us. I hope everything goes well. Everyone makes it. Everyone makes weight and everything like that. But before I start and I get into it, I got to say that I rock with both fighters. I'm fans of both fighters. I even kind of got I got ties to both fighters in both ways because I know Eve Edwards and Mike Brown, who's part of Dustin's camp. And I know Movlid Haibulov, the dude that got the 10-second flying knee knockout in PFL. And he's boys with Khabib. He trains with Khabib. I mean, I've seen Ali Abdelaziz around at PFL and shit like that. But outside of that, I never had any interaction with him really. But anyway, all outside the point, to the fucking fights, why you guys are here. All right, man. Fucking woo! I watched Max Holloway versus Dustin Poirier today for the third time. And the first time I watched it was like right when it happened, but I was still in the aftermath of Izzy Kelvin that like I couldn't really digest what was going. It was just way too much adrenaline, too much going on. I couldn't address everything that was happening. So when I watched it again the second time, I might have been on. Well, I mean, we don't get into that. Let's say I was at an elevated place where I could see it in a different light. But now I watched it again today, and bruh, man, Dustin, and I watched the Eddie Alvarez fight again, the second one. Yo, Dustin is super clean. He's super crisp. He's like really, really on point with his striking, with his precision. You heard that sound like Sean Connery? His precision, see, that's naughty. But with the way he's got this defense where he goes like this and he's got everything tucked and he's really sharp and he's really good. The only problem that I noticed that's still kind of a hole, which I don't see it playing into a factor with the whole Khabib fight, but I noticed that a hole in Dustin's striking game is like when he's actually putting in a lot of pressure and a lot of volume, he really tends to like throw and then have this hand low and he really starts winging shots, and even if he's following up, he never comes and he never brings it, he never fires. So he'll be just like coming and then he'll just fire and then he'll go like, just like fire like this and then come like this and drop his hands, and it's like, all right, bro, like with a cleanly timed counter, that's still gonna get you. Like, despite how really clean and precise his offense got, there's still some holes in his defense. But the thing is, I don't know if that I don't really think that's going to factor into this Khabib fight. What I really think is honestly going to happen from like my gut feeling, I have a feeling that it's going to be one of those performances that it's going to be like, oh, he stuffed the takedown, like, so all right, so I see it going like a couple of ways. Guys, chill out, yo. Yeah, I'm doing something. So it's either going to be what it should be and what it obviously is going to be is Khabib doing Khabib, and Khabib going, taking him down, ground and pounding, and taking him out how he always does, right? But the thing is, I feel like that Dustin, if we see him get taken down, I think that we see him defensively do well. And I think that we actually see him get back up to his feet, get to the cage, kind of like the Ally Quinta performance. And it's going to get to a point where it's like, all right, now it's going to start taking place on the feet. And then I feel like when it starts going down on the feet, that's when Dustin's going to start picking them apart. And I feel like it could be like this crazy moment where it's not going to be like, oh, fuck, he caught Khabib kind of deal, like a Michael Johnson type shit. It's going to be, yo, guys, get away from the TV, yo. Duchess, stop buying Sammy. Sorry, it's my dogs. So where, wow, I lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah. So it's going to be like it's not going to be like a flukish kind of, oh, he caught him kind of thing. It's going to be a methodical, a built, like a actual translating in the fight where he's showing his strengths. Because keep in mind, Dustin is no slouch on the ground at all. Dustin gets busy on the ground, actually. And when you see him when you see what he did to Pettis on the ground, like I get Pettis said that his rib was broken or whatever, but what he did to Pettis on the ground, the way he got them out, when you see what he did to Max Holloway in the first fight, the way he threw that arm bar and then transitioned it to a triangle so smoothly, and then transitioned it to a mounted triangle armbar. Like, yo, Dustin's a legit black belt. And when you see what he did, where he really built himself into this place of being a Justin Gaethje fight of the night type of fighter. When you look at the series that he's been going on, when you look at the Max Holloway fight, you look at both the Eddie Alvarez series. Oh, what's going on, my man? How you doing, MMA from the Heartland? When you look at the Gaethje fight, when you look at the Pettis fight, you see a lot of growth in that. And I remember UFC 199 is when I feel like the resurgence of Dustin Poirier really started happening, because he fought Bobby Green and he knocked Bobby Green out. This is like he recently moved up to lightweight, and we're like, all right, he's going on a run. Dustin's doing his thing. And then he gets knocked out by Michael Johnson, and then you're like, oh, damn, Dustin was really building some momentum. I don't know if you guys remember that 199 card. Dustin was the one that kicked that off. Like, how that was like such an incredible like card, like knockouts and shit like that. Dustin was the one that kicked off the main card. I think after Dustin, it was Dan Henderson and Hector Lombard. You had Hendo Hector and that fucking block elbow knockout from Hendo. And I feel like what we've seen Dustin grow and evolve to be, and what really dawned on me recently, it's like, for some reason, when you look at Max Holloway right after the Brian Ortega fight and what he did with that air, it's like literally with what Max did in that performance, he erased all questions, period. Everyone was questioning, is he going to make weight? Is his health okay? Is concussions all right? Is Max's career over? And the way Max went out there and literally, I don't mean this by like any stretch that of like, oh, he beat his ass. No, he literally almost killed Brian Ortega. And let me read the chat. Hold on. Oh, I can't read that. Well, so like, all right, I'm reading that in a little bit, Dan. So he was like, he literally almost killed Brian Ortega. And when he came and he was coming up to lightweight, it was like, no one was questioning. Max was like on a whole new wavelength. Max was like unstoppable. It was like, yo, he doesn't need to be at 45. He needs to be at 55 doing something. And when he went to Dustin, they were really looking at Dustin as the underdog going into the Max Holloway fight. It was almost like that Max, like that Dustin was only there because Tony wasn't there, and Dustin was the second most worthy, you know? But Dustin was always earning his shit, you know what I mean? Dustin got the Nate Diaz fight. You know, if the shit didn't fall off, that would have been Dustin that Nate would have been coming back to, and who knows if it would have went the way that it went. And I think that it's really crazy that hold on, let me get this chat going. Let me read what you're saying, Dan. All right, hold on. So I'm just getting up and reading this bitch. What does it say? I can't fucking read the chat for some reason. Hold on, I got you. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm sorry. Yeah, hold on. I can't fucking read that shit, Dan. I just see that you said, and his dad's there for the first time. I assume he's going to do complete ground control. I doubt he takes any chances. I don't see the second comment, but it says that you said about pressure about Khabib in his hometown and the region. It's like cut off. But yeah, I think that like it might play a part, but like, you know, I feel like Khabib shown that he does well under pressure because he he did the whole thing against Connor, you know what I mean? And he didn't bend, he didn't break in that. And if there was going to be any time that he would have been then. If now I feel like if anything, it won't be the pressure of, oh, I need to perform. It might be the overconfidence in a sense, because he's going to have all that support. He did rise to that occasion against Connor. So he might actually start feeling like this untouchable air of I can't be beat. You know what I mean? He might be kind of like buying into that brand a little bit, which I feel like DC was starting to buy into that a little bit with the Stipe Miocic fight. So I feel like, honestly, man, I really do feel like Khabib, what we know should happen isn't what always happens. You know what I mean? That's the beauty of the sport. So I don't think that Khabib is going to. I've been having this feeling for a long time, and I just kind of have this gut feeling that Dustin's going to be the one to dethrone Khabib. I could be wrong, and it could be like, damn, dude, Khabib really is that motherfucker. Like when Khabib came back and he did what he did to Barboza, and you know what he did to McGregor, and he might just be building like that. Like, listen, you guys are saying it, I've been saying it, but now I'm proved it. You know what I mean? Like he could start building himself up into like he could be proving that he is what everyone has been saying he has been. You know what I mean? Like the greatest, the eagle, all that. Like Khabib really is in that air, because when you look at that, the only person he hasn't unified with is Tony Ferguson, and that's the fight that we all want. But outside of that, dude, Khabib's really done everything to prove that he's one of the best lightweights of all time. So I feel like Khabib right now is like super methodical and like a super high level specialist technician in the system that he has. So he has the wrist riding systems, and where he gets like this mount on your legs where he wraps he's wrapping your legs so you can't do anything while he rides your wrists. And he's got like masteries in systems and actually using systems and combinations and like puzzle pieces in different positions, and how to just control and inflict his ground and pound damage. And it's like, it's almost beautiful, you know what I mean? Because he's one of the fighters that is really like ground and pound heavy, that isn't really a boring fighter. You know what I mean? Like when you watch like a DC versus Anderson Silva, you're like, all right, yeah, whatever. And I mean, I've been like to fights like in real life where they kind of had like, they're kind of laying on each other, and that shit sucks just as much as it does at home. You know what I mean? So, but when you watch Khabib, and when you watch how Khabib, the way he postures up and knows what to do with the space on the ground, it's beautiful. But the thing is, will he get Dustin down? Like most probably 100%. You can't say anything guaranteed, but you could almost fucking guarantee it because it's Khabib. Now, the thing is, I think when it gets to the ground, we're going to see it be and play out very differently than it does, because I feel like ATT, Mike Brown, the coaches, Dustin himself with his fight IQ, I feel like he's going to develop answers to that. And when he feels could be going for the wrist and trying to ride, he's going to fight it and figure out something to do. You know, they're going to come up with the plans. Like, I mean, they're kind of like on this new wave where they're kind of like, oh shit, like we could just do this and click, like the Jorge Masvidal Ben Askren flying knee shit. So I mean, honestly, on some real shit, they could really go and try and execute that. They could really go to that well twice, because in reality, who'd have think that they really would? You know what I mean? Like, what are the odds that like the same stylistic matchup, the same problem with the same people the same type of people out of the same camp do the same thing to get the same results? Like, it's almost like lightning's not going to strike twice in the same place. But like, bruh, if you could literally get that lightning in a motherfucking bottle and just pew, open that cap up a little bit here and there, let that shit shine out here and there, I could feel like that's what they may be able to do. But you know, it's kind of almost like a nature for a wrestler. Anytime like anything is getting just kind of all right. So when you notice when Jorge Masvidal went for the knee, Ben Askren saw like movement and immediately went down. Like Jorge Masvidal said, the crotch magnet. But like that's just kind of almost like a wrestler's nature, because when you're like when you're in a fight, whatever your major style is going to be instinctually what you do. Because when you're fatigued, when you're in the heat of the battle, when shit is, you're not going to be cognizant. You don't have time to think. It's literally you don't have the ability. It's not that like you literally don't have the ability to, because there's nothing allowing you to. You know what I mean? There's nothing that you can see, digest, comprehend, think. It's all like this. So it's all instinctual. That's the whole thing about training, is drilling into your body so it becomes who you are. So in those moments of like lightning fast reactionary required timings, it's just there. You don't have to think about it. And that's what the best fighters train themselves to do. And I think that that's really where Dustin is when it comes to his striking and precision and his striking offense. I feel like Dustin's kind of hit this prime, and I kind of got off of this point. I was building off this point. I don't know how I got off of it. So the whole reason I was talking about Max Holloway was like after the Brian Ortega thing, the way we viewed him, and when we saw Dustin and the way Dustin was, it was almost like it was Max's fight to lose. But in reality, bro, when Dustin did what he did to Max, I mean, they both got their licks in, but bro, that shit was fucking crazy. I remember watching like the first round earlier today. I was just like packing up a bong and I was watching the first round and I was like, oh, fuck. And I was just like, oh shit. It was just like that night, dude. It was just the Kelvin Izzy fight was just so much and so awesome that like it was just literally too much awesomeness to process that night. So then just like watching this in isolation again, it was like, holy shit, dude. And with how crisp he was, what he did with his defensive systems, the way, that fucking, like the way Dustin gets that shit off defensively is really like, it's almost fucking wild, because like there's only three people that I know that could do something like that. Is Dustin Poirier and Yoel Romero and John Jones in the fucking Glover Teixeira fight, when he was doing like that kind of shit where he was like doing the defense like that against Glover, if you guys remember that. And I think that, the way Dustin's got his systems down, just like how Khabib has, we've seen Dustin get a refined striking and a refined palate for his fight IQ. And it's so evident when I was watching the Max Holloway fight, because it's like, the level Max showed that he was on in that Brian Ortega fight was fucking insane. But the thing is, Dustin showed that he's actually at that level as well. He might not have been riding the same win streak as Max, but he's gone through the whole fucking he's going through the whole shit, dude. Let me see. That's funny. I literally had the same reaction, thought the same. Izzy and Gastelum gave me so much. Yeah, dude. Like the whole thing with Calvin and Izzy was just so overwhelming, dude. Like especially how wild that fifth round was. And let me see. Let me read it off the phone, off the chat. Dab. Yeah, dude. So like, and then the way I feel like the way Dustin has got his shit, it's like, all right, he not only, it's like when you could compare fighters, who's better than who, it's like almost like he literally showed that he's like on that level of Max Holloway and maybe even better. And the way I love what Max said is he beat a champion, so he is a champion, which is 100% true. So it's like he was doing his thing. Hold on. There's a Sasquatch looking thing in my window. What are you talking about, bro? Like, don't freak me out. I gotta get the gun out right now, dude. All right, but so I feel that like as this fight plays on and it progresses, we're gonna see like how in the Khabib Al Quinta fight, where there was something going on where you're like, oh shit, is like an upset gonna happen? And we saw, guys, chill out. There's fucking UFC 240 whatever going on right now over here. And So the so I feel like it's gonna come to a point where Dustin works his way back up to the feet and starts getting the shit off on the feet and really starts picking Khabib apart. And I feel like it starts going to the thing where you see it pour on. And another thing is when Dustin knows how to go for the kill switch. Like when you look at what he did against Eddie Alvarez in the second fight, it's like, bro, once Eddie dropped that illegal elbow directed from my guy Mark Henry, like after he dropped that, Dustin's like, nah, I'm not having this shit anymore, and put him out right then and there on the spot. So I feel like, and especially when you look at the licks he was getting in on Max Holloway, with the looks he was getting in on Max Holloway, it was pretty fucking wild. I know. Nah, I know. I got what you're saying before then. I was just like, nah, I'm pop Sasquatch if that bitch ever shows up. But yeah, man. Fucking the way that when I definitely see this fight ending in a finish. You know, only way I really see it go to a decision if it's like 5 round Khabib dominated control decision. Chill. My bad, guys. This is why I don't stream with my dogs here. But it could go to a 5 round decision with Khabib dominating. But on the real, I'm not going to talk about real. Well, actually, I should talk about it. The way that I feel like Khabib could beat Dustin is really, I mean, I don't really need to get into it, but the thing is, if he really can get in those spaces and in those situations where he gets mount, he gets controlled, he gets postured, gets the posture up and gets the ground and pound, he really could get the finish that way or sinking a choke. But Dustin's got real high class jujitsu, so I don't see him really getting subbed. But you know, at like Khabib could kind of like make you sub to a point out of like not out of skill but out of will. You know what I mean? Like you're just like, hey, I'm done. Tap. Like I'm done with this shit. You got it. You've been on top of me for fucking 22 minutes. I get it. You're better than me in this aspect. You win the fight. So again, I feel like that's really kind of what happened to Connor. He's like, yo, fuck this. All right, you got this. But so like he could push it to that place because that's what Khabib kind of does. And like when you look at what he did to Barboza, it's only because Barboza doesn't have like Barboza has an unbreakable will. You know what I mean? And I feel like I see this ending maybe in the I'm gonna say like second or third round. I see Dustin getting off a clean 1-2 on the feet, and I see him like getting a clean 1-2 on the feet, stunning Khabib, and then going in for the kill, like pressuring Khabib backing up, and him putting Khabib away. Like, I mean, I know it's wild. It's really a fucking wild thing to even kind of say because it's Khabib we're talking about here, and Khabib really has earned that respect through what he's done. And you know, I even kind of like went and watched the Khabib McGregor fight again, and you know what Khabib was doing on the feet, bro. It was like he was really like paying McGregor no respect whatsoever, and McGregor couldn't capitalize. So it's like it almost validates Khabib and justifies Khabib and not paying him any respect, and he got away with it. Another thing is Khabib dropped McGregor. And like with what I said with Dustin when he throws his combinations and he's really getting into it, and he's like instead of being up posted and like coming with hooks and then dropping it right back, the fuck was that? And then and instead of dropping it right back, he goes like he drops and then goes pop and then swings and then comes and then he starts like pressuring, and it's always winging from each side, and he uses the pendulum kind of torque to get that momentum each side to make those hits harder. But the thing with that, and when you do that, dude, that's just playing like the fucking gamble. That's Russian roulette, bro. Like winging shit in the pocket is literally Russian roulette. And he does take those chances. And let me see what you said. Yeah, dude. Like, yeah, exactly, bro. Like, it's not like like exactly what you said is that Barboza and Johnson, like you gave the perfect examples because Edson Barboza is kind of the example of the extremely well-rounded, dangerous, vicious striker, creative striker. And then you have Michael Johnson, who is like the deadly, fast, precise sniper kind of striker. And he's like so fast, he's almost like the Flash. Like you don't even see your shit coming. But like when you look at Dustin, Dustin is almost like he's almost like a combination of Stipe and like Stipe and Michael Johnson, dude. Like honestly, if I were to like Stipe and Michael Johnson and like Kelvin a little bit, but not really. I would just kind of more compare it to like Stipe and Michael Johnson, and yeah, dude, exactly. Garbrandt, dude, like his demise was the pocket, bro. The pocket killed Cody Garbrandt's career. And I mean, like, I'm not gonna lie, dude. Like, when I met TJ, I was like pretty fascinated with how small he was. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, he was literally like when I was standing, like like the top of his head was probably like up to here. You know what I mean? And I like it like literally like maybe like yeah, I'd probably say it was like up to here. And I was like kind of like, damn, dude, like I'm about like 6 feet and like but like he was like really, really small. So it was just like I was like, damn, dude, like it's just that like it doesn't matter the size of a person. It's because of like the off button and the switch and like all the variables and the positions. And it's like that's the beauty of the sport. It's like the technique and the timing and like almost the finesse of it all. So it's like the way Poirier has that finesse. You know what I mean? Like Poirier really, really can finesse the game. And Khabib has that finesse with the mastery of systems he has in wrestling. And it's literally like you can't even say it's like, oh, this is old school UFC wrestler versus striker. It's really not, dude, because Dustin has proved that he's very well versed on in the ground game. And Khabib has proved I've got the balls to stand with the people that really could knock me out, and they don't. Like that whole third round, him and McGregor, it was really fascinating. When McGregor and Khabib were fighting, they were literally toe to toe. Both of them hands the fuck down, not giving a fuck. And like literally having the confidence in yourself and the balls to like put it all on the line to throw it away like that, like the risk of throwing it away, you know what I mean? Like if you get knocked out in that and you're dominating the fight and you're just got clipped in a pocket because ego, you know how that could eat someone away. And bro, Jeremy's 5'8". I was way taller than him, but Joe, yeah, dude. Jeremy, yeah, it doesn't even matter. You know who actually surprised me, who's a lot bigger than I thought they would be, is Dominic Cruz. Dominic Cruz is a big guy. I was actually surprised because, like, especially in comparison to TJ, like, even when you look like TJ and Dom coming face to face, it's like, all right, it doesn't look like there's that big of a size discrepancy. But when I was next to TJ talking to TJ, and when I was next to Dom talking to Dom, like, their presence was like a lot different. You know what I mean? It was Dom was like, he was a lot bigger, not only like just taller, just like overall a bigger person. And like TJ was like kind of like small. Like TJ was like small to the point where it's like it almost makes you wonder, like, dude, I know you're an incredible mixed martial artist and like you have such a mastery and skill and technique, but like, bro, I don't think you'd be able to fuck me up just because of your size. Like that's the type of size TJ is. And when you look at things, I think it plays out really differently than what we know as fans. So when you look at the way Dustin looked in the cage against Max, I feel like Dustin might be one of those dudes where where you're next to him, you're like, bro, how the fuck did you fight at 45? Because I mean, like, it's almost kind of like I after seeing like Dom, it's kind of like almost kind of like wild that they make the weights that they make, you know what I mean? And even I'm trying to think like even like it's actually kind of crazy because the bigger guy like out of like because I met like a lot of fighters and it's like the bigger guys like the Randy Couture's and the like the Lyoto Machitas and the Chael Sonnens and all of them. It's like when you go to them, you're like, all right, yeah, they're big guys, but you're like, but like when I'm like next to them, I'm like, oh shit, they're like really not that big, like that much bigger than me at all. Like I'm actually bigger than some of them. So and then it's like, and then like it's only like the real ones that like really kind of throw you off are the guys that fight at the smaller weight class. So it's like, oh, I'm gonna read what Dan said. I didn't see that. Yo, why the fuck does this shit keep coming now? Oh, you're killing me about TJ. Yeah, nah, exactly, dude. Like, yeah, not like I like TJ's extremely skilled, but just size wise, like, I'm like, it's literally TJ's the kind of size, like, no offense to TJ or anything. Like, I have like a great respect for him and everything like that, and he's super cool to me. So it's like nothing against him, but it's literally that kind of shit where, like, you know, where you like hold your hand out and like the people are like, they have your hand on their forehead and they're trying to hit you. It's like almost like that kind of shit. And Dom posted a picture today of Henry Cejudo. And apparently at one of the new institutes in the UFC, or one of the things at one of the new UFC facilities, because they rebuilt fucking Las Vegas, apparently. And they got like pictures of like their UFC champs with like the belts and shit like that. And it's got like their actual, like a cutout, like a picture of them with their actual size and like their reach and like the like a size explaining their reach. And Dom fucking like took a picture standing next to it and like with his hand over. Yo, I'll just fucking show you guys that shit right now so you guys can get what I'm saying if I can find it really quick. And like, dude, the size discrepancy is pretty crazy. And yeah, I don't know if you guys will be able to see this on the computer. Nah, it's not gonna come through. It's the shitty webcam. Hold on. Yeah, no, it's a fucking shitty ass webcam. But anyway, yeah, but yeah, I mean, Dom called out Cejudo, and like that'll be like Cejudo would get his ass fucking wrecked, dude. And I'm sorry, I'm not like, because I mean, like Cejudo said, like Cejudo might be TJ size or maybe smaller. Like I don't know. I think Cejudo's smaller than TJ. And if fucking Cejudo, if you're smaller than TJ, bro, like you're pretty fucking tiny, my guy. I'm sorry. Like nothing, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing against that at all. But like, it's like when you're like Dom's a bigger guy. Like that's not going to go your way at all, bro. But I do respect that he's going for it because he knows that. And he was even willing to fight at 45. And the thing with Henry Cejudo is he's got the skill and the talent to compensate for those things. Like that's how skilled and gifted he is that like despite being that small, it's like you can compensate for that stuff. And yeah, I feel like that's why when TJ went down to 25s, as he says, 25s, and he was like, oh, my hematocrit levels were dropping, so I only took EPO to raise my hematocrit levels up to like what it would normally be. But the thing is, the reason, well, like pretty much hematocrit levels are your white blood cells, so it's like pretty much the it's low, and it's that low, and it's dangerously low because you're not supposed to be at that weight because you're already such a small person that like you depleting that is taking away too much. So even if you kind of compensate that back, it's not gonna really replenish the dehydration in the brain and in the body. It might just get like your blood a little healthier and like stop the risks of that. So like that's not really an applicable excuse for using that, especially when like Cody called. Anyway, I'm not gonna get into that whole thing, but anyway, it's just like a whole thing with like size and stuff like that. So it's like really, I think that's why when you see like a lot of fighters go up that they have success, I feel like if Max had more time, when you look at when Max went up to 155 for the Poirier fight, that was on the UFC calling him to do it. It wasn't him doing it on his own will. And when you look at people going up on their own accord, they always do well. You know what I mean? And Dustin was really the OG pioneer in moving up a weight class and stopping weight cutting. Because you look at Dustin Poirier, when he moved up to, I mean, like, he at least moved up to 155, like, what, maybe like, when was 199? Whenever you see 191 is like at minimum that, you know what I mean? So he did this years ago, and when you see the way he progressed from what he went through at featherweight to where he was building, having hype, and he would come up short and like have a shortcoming. And I think when he went up against McGregor, that was the largest stage for it to go left for him. Now's on McGregor's rise. So it's like he almost got marred by that. Like you really don't see any of those come up opponents from McGregor except for Holloway and Poirier doing anything really. Like when you look at Dennis Siver or what was the dude what was the dude with the Super Saiyan Scouter? Marcus Brimage, maybe? I think Marcus Brimage, but yeah, I don't know, dude. It's just like they haven't been doing anything. And when you look at what Poirier's done and what he's built himself to be and the way he's still growing and he's still evolving and his whole skill set is just like changing and molding in a sense of the way it's just being so refined, because it's like we've seen him be so well rounded, but we've just seen him like against consistent elevations in opponents and challenges and those different aspects that those opponents bring. When he fought Pettis brought this whole dynamic, well-rounded mixed martial artist thing to it. Eddie Alvarez, stop it. Eddie Alvarez got the whole like dog in him, you know, the dirty dog street fighter type shit. Gaethje's got the I'm gonna kill you and I'm gonna die trying to kill you, and went through Eddie again, dude. And he just, when Holloway was literally the crescendo on what I feel like is gonna be like almost an immortalization of Dustin Poirier in his career if he gets this done. Like if Poirier, and I feel like we don't respect Poirier as much as we should and be as talent level, because we've seen him fall short in front of our eyes like a couple of times. And it's almost like the Cowboy thing, where if Cowboy probably fought maybe like 2-3 times a year, he might be like one of the most elite of the elite, even have a belt. You know what I mean? But like, because we see him out there so often and because situations sometimes don't go their way, it's like it kind of mars the fans' perceptions of them. And especially when Dustin falls short on a stage against someone like Conor McGregor, I feel like that really kind of just even subconsciously marred a lot of people, that he had to really crawl and dig himself out of that grave and rise from that. And I feel like the way he rose from that and what he went through and the people he's gone through to make it through to this point, it's like he shouldn't be here. So I feel like just like how he shouldn't be here, he shouldn't be beating Khabib, but he's there. So I think that this might be one of those things where he actually does get it done. And it's like, this is really for me like one of those gut feeling kind of shits that I talk about, where I'm just like, yeah, there's just something inside of me that's just telling me that this is what's going to be the result. And this is just one of those moments, you know what I mean? And like, I really like, this could be one of the times that I'm off, you know what I mean? And Khabib just goes out there and does Khabib, because I even thought like, I was like, yo, Dan, I was even texting you, bro. Remember I was saying, I was like, yo, I kind of got a feeling maybe Ali Kinta might get an upset on Khabib. Like when that was announced, and like, we were talking about that, and it was just like, he didn't, but like he did like real good, you know what I mean? A lot better than anybody ever expected, and kind of almost exploited like a little bit of a hole in Khabib's game that, I mean, until that whole, like once that, another thing that like, since I'm talking, that came to me, once Ali Kinta exposed that hole, nobody did anything to kind of see what to do to capitalize on it, because McGregor sure as fuck did. My foot was a balloon. My foot was a fucking balloon 3 weeks out. But like, I don't know that. You know what I mean? So like, that doesn't really kind of account to me when I'm an analyst analyzing the game plan of what you did. So like, I feel like almost kind of like the reason what made Conor comfortable with taking that fight was the Ali Kinta performance. But in that, he didn't capitalize on it. And it's like, Khabib almost used the McGregor performance to cancel out the Ali Kinta performance. Like, because he looked bad on the feet with Al, the chin up, and it was kind of like the jabs and like the way the jabs, like Khabib's were coming, jabs were coming like that. And I was like kind of like from down low, chin up, kind of sloppy. But when he stood toe to toe with McGregor and McGregor couldn't do shit, and when Khabib was the one to drop McGregor on the feet, the Al Iaquinta debate is almost null and void until you get someone skilled enough and with a high enough level of a fight IQ to go into that hole and into that kind of dimension that Al created and exploit that. So I feel like Dustin Poirier is that dude to be able to do that. You know what I mean? And I feel like I said a lot. I went 40 minutes. I honestly expected this shit to go like 15, 20 minutes tops. But I guess like once I got into it, I just kind of got going. And yeah, man, looking forward to the fights. I'm not gonna be at I'm gonna be busy this weekend, so I'm not gonna be able to do any videos about the fights until Monday. So Monday, Tuesday, I'm gonna do my review. Fuck it. I might just do a video on my phone on Saturday, Sunday if I can, but I'm not gonna guarantee that. But 100% Monday, Tuesday, I'm going to be breaking down the fight, and maybe I'll just be here and be like, yo, how crazy was it that I was right? You never know. And you already know, guys, I appreciate everyone for tuning in and rocking with me. Drop a like, subscribe, and I appreciate it. You already know it's Mastermind MMA. And Dan, I'm going to text you right now after this. All right, my guy? All right, take it easy, fellas.